Welcome to Voices,
a podcast from the Institute for Human Rights and Business.
Here, we're seeking to elevate the range of perspectives
on the role of business in the world
and in people's everyday lives.
Hello everyone, I'm Neil Wilkins, Head of the Migrant Workers Programme at the Institute for Human Rights and Business. I'm here today with Bibek Dhakal, who is a Nepalese migrant worker currently working in the United Arab Emirates. And Bibek is a member of migrant worker organisation Shramik Sanjal. Bibek, welcome.
Hello there. Thank you so much for having me, Neil, today.
Bibek, it's great to catch up with you, and it's nearly 2 years now since you and other Nepali workers associated with Shramik Sanjal joined us at the Global Forum for Responsible Recruitment in Bangkok back in 2019. Just to remind people, you're a migrant worker from Nepal, currently working in the UAE, but perhaps you could tell us a little bit about that. What sort of company do you work for?
Currently, I'm here in UAE, engaged in a hospitality company and working as a support function there. And as a Shramik Sanjal, I'm supporting our Nepalese migrant workers here and abroad as a team member and supporting different new members to join, continue regular meetings, develop members, and then many other aspects that we are supporting after attending our meeting in 2019 in Bangkok.
Okay, so Shramik Sanjal, that stands for Migrant Worker Network, I believe. That's correct?
It is a Nepalese migrant workers group, let's say. Since 2016, when we started this for the first time, we had been organizing informal meetings over the social media, let's say, online meeting like this. And every month we had a meeting, we tried to understand the situation within the countries and tried to help each other as much as possible, as we believed in United We Stand. And we shared our situations, and as much as possible, we helped our fellow citizens and also offered the feedback, suggestion to the embassies, Nepalese government, and also wherever possible to the international organizations who can help us to work better and with better life conditions.
Because very often it's these social networks and these support networks that are missing for migrant workers when they're abroad. It's sort of understanding the systems and the way to do things, isn't it?
Yes. So many times the systems are also in place, but these are not implemented very well. And in the same time, we were in different part of the world. So how do we unite? And virtually we started this organization in 2020 during the pandemic. We got it registered also in Nepal, and now we have many members who are still communicating and benefiting the United group now.
So you're helping Nepalese migrant workers both in the Gulf and in Malaysia. What sectors are your members working in, Bibek?
Mostly Shramik Sanjal firms member who are working in grassroots. The sector especially ranges from facility management to retail, hospitality, construction, road and transport, and also large part of our members or Nepalese migrants work in domestic sectors, as domestic workers.
And often that sector gets overlooked, doesn't it? Because those workers are sort of hidden away, and perhaps they're in even more need of the support services that Shramik Sanjal can offer.
Exactly. It also depends on the country. Some specific countries have more issues with domestic workers, and in some countries are a bit forward on these ones, giving a bit facilities compared to a few others. But domestic workers are the sector that is overlooked so far.
Bibek, when you joined us in Bangkok 2 years ago, you'd just undertaken a survey of workers Nepalese workers. Tell us briefly about that and what it told us all.
Our survey in 2019 and before was focused on the practices of recruitment, the process especially, and then we found out many practices that were really bad, I would say, for migrant workers. Like we had to pay a whole lot of money to come to abroad in GCC countries to get a job. Nearly we had to pay $1,000 to $1,500 to get in here. And when we come here in the host countries, many of our contracts were not original. They were fake, and we had to sign in the contracts that were not in our languages. We didn't know what it was written, and we had to do the job that the employer says what they say to do. And we were heartbroken. We were very sad. Many Nepalese migrant workers have given up their life by suicide, and in these situations that their expectations were not fulfilled. 100,000, 1 lakh Nepalese rupees, $1,000 is a big investment for us that we borrow and that we get a loan. And to get that back, we need to wait for 1 year. That our dreams are all shattered within this year. And psychologically, we are very down. And many people have, psychologically, they are feeling bad. They are not, their mental health is not good, and some of them have died in that situation. So the research we found, and we given the suggestion to many different organizations that recruitment fees should be zero or very minimum, so that we feel a little bit comfortable on what we do. At the end of the day, what we do here is the remittance we send, the families that are dependent on this salary, is all the government, and all goes back to the government, and government should be a bit responsible on these. And the countries we work for, they should also be responsible on these practices, that they should not accept any of these recruitment agencies who send people with that huge amount of money.
Yeah. No, and as you know, my own organisation, we spend an awful lot of our time focused on this key issue for migrant workers of the payment of recruitment fees to secure employment abroad. And as you say, very often that means that workers end up indebted, and then in situations when the contracts don't match what they were promised, workers have trouble servicing those recruitment debts, of course.
Yes.
Now, Bibek, a lot has happened in the world since then. How were Nepalese workers affected by the coronavirus pandemic?
We were very hard hit in the compared to other nationalities. We all hit, but many active countries take good decisions and took very good actions to solve that issue or minimize that. During that, lots of us lost our job, our payment were delayed, and we didn't have even basic money left with us to feed ourselves. So looking out for help in different way, and we requested government to provide our basic need to get back to home. So we are Nepalese citizens. We want to get back home, and this was not heard properly, or not heard very quickly. But by slowly, I know it happened, but it was the address wasn't done at the same time. The process was very delayed. And as a Shramik Sanjal, we got a lot of feedback on that. We used to present a live telecast. It's called live Facebook Live, where we try to find out the problems and connect them to the solutions. And lots of people wanted to return back to home, our fellow workers. So we started a campaign called Right to Return Home. It in Nepali called Ghar Jana Pau. It's in English Right to Return Home. And that also given effect that everybody, all the Nepalese living in abroad, want to return back home. And later there were some special flights that they started taking Nepalese who were stranded in these countries. And one example, one very big issue was, let's say migrant pregnant women were here. They were supposed to be delivering babies, were stranded here. Lots of people in visit visas and critical health conditions were left stranded here, and those were the first to go back, but still it was a bit late. But finally, we are in this condition now. But government acted, but a bit slowly, I would say. And the hospitality government should give us the proper communication, the channel, the link, the supports wasn't there as we expected.
No, I think as well, the way that migrant workers were treated during the pandemic was symptomatic of sort of negative attitudes towards migrant workers. And, we see employers think that they can simply stand workers down, very often still owing them wages and other accrued benefits. And this issue of wage theft featured in the IHRB top 10 key human rights issues for 2020. And many organisations are now working for a justice mechanism to try to ensure that money owing is paid back to these workers. So that's something I think we're all keeping an eye on. Bibek, we're starting to see some changes, at least on paper, to labour laws in some countries, some of the ones that you mentioned. Are your members starting to see any benefits yet, or will things take a while to filter down?
Some changes we have seen in host countries and origination countries, like we saw some changes in policy, making like some countries now don't require NOC to change a job.
So
and
that's the no objection certificate, isn't it?
Yes, it is no objection certificate, and also non-discriminatory wages system. Like all of the nationalities or all job category will get the similar or equal salary, and it is visible to the government and to the lawyers. So those systems were implemented. That is a bit relief for us, that we can at least change our job if we don't like the employer. And in origination country like in Nepal, recently we have seen some changes, like those manpower agencies who were practicing the wrong financial wrong accounting system. Like we pay nearly $1,000 to $1,500, but in their books they only mention and show $100 has been paid.
Okay.
And behind the scene we have to pay the huge amount of money to get that job. So these practices, now governments are raiding those areas, raiding those places, raiding those organizations, and controlling these malpractices. That is a bit sigh of relief, but a lot more to be done for those who do something for the sake of country and sake of their families and whole nation.
Let's hope it continues to change for the better. Bibek, what next for Shramik Sanjal? How do you see the organization developing?
Before pandemic, we were an informal group. And during the pandemic, we have formed, at least established an organization in Nepal now. And pandemic has left us all stranded, like we were in pandemic, as an organization as well. Many of our core members have been returned back to home during the job loss. During the pandemic, they got job loss, got terminated, and then many have had to move finally. So now we are reforming our group, recruiting new members, new volunteers to support us, and also having a different other chapters, like looking after the media for Facebook Live, looking after liaising to the other organization, liaising to the local governments and municipalities. We are redrafting our structure. Still, our structure is very simple. Everybody is a member, and only one coordinators coordinate whole members. So there is a less risk of losing due to structural issues. We are all Shramik Sanjal as a member, and we are supporting, helping each other across the GCC and Malaysia.
That's fantastic. And you know that our organisation are very supportive of the great work that you do. Bibek, Dhakal, it's been great to talk to you, and we look forward to hearing more about the efforts of Shramik Sanjal to support workers in Nepal. And I'm quite sure that your organisation will be featuring in many of the programs, projects and events that IHRB organise in the future. Thank you very much for your time today. It's very much appreciated. Thank you.
You're welcome, Neil, and thank you so much for your continuous support, and thank you so much for having me today.